way if you want to go back and look something up, now you have it. So it's not a bad thing to do. All right, so we're going to talk lighting, and some of my artists in here might be able to chime in. If you've taken photos, you might know a little bit about this, so feel free to add into this. Backlighting. When a director takes the light source and puts it directly behind the actor's head, sometimes it creates a little bit of a shadow, or in Jennifer Aniston's case, it creates almost this halo-like ring, which makes her look super angelic, makes her look super, emphasizes her beauty. And oftentimes, a director will choose to do this with a romantic lead. So to make the romantic lead or the young female seem angelic and sweet and beautiful, they're going to use lighting and put the lighting source behind her head. Front lighting. Instead of lighting someone from the back, taking the light source and putting the light source directly in front of the actor or actress is going to make the shadows here really, really distinct. It's going to make the outlines of the cereal here a lot sharper, and it also most likely is going to create a really deep shadow. So a director would use this type of lighting, especially with hard or harsh lighting, and like I said, it creates that shadow, and shadows can create mystery, can emphasize certain objects, and Psycho is going to use a lot of front lighting. Three-point lighting. This is the most traditional form of lighting. When you all got your senior pictures, did you have to come here for it? Yeah. So you came here and they had those tripods and it looks like an umbrella with lighting. The three-point lighting is used for portraits. Again, this is a conventional or standard form of lighting. Oftentimes, you'll have your subject right here. You'll have backlighting, but you'll also have some front lighting to kind of balance out those shadows, and you'll have a filter light, which is that umbrella light, which is going to make you look as flattering as possible. It's going to be the most natural look on film, and like I said, it's the conventional way of filming. So if I wanted to make a high school film here at Cary Grove High School, I would definitely have lighting up here at the front of the room. I'd put some lighting back there where Jeff is, and I would have some lighting on the side to diffuse the shadows and the outside lighting here. All right, here's the fun stuff. So let's take a look at the back. Special shots and editing techniques. So how many of you have played around with iMovie? iMovie is amazing, especially the latest version of it. Mr. Sugo just got the newest version of the iPad, and so he's been playing around with iMovie. And the editing techniques that you're allowed to use, or that they have, is very, very high-tech and very, very neat. Unfortunately, that is my computer, so I don't have iMovie, but Movie Maker also is starting to get up to date with some of these techniques. We're going to start with the cut. So if you look on our cheat sheet or our handout, a cut is a sudden change of shot from one viewpoint to another location. On television, cuts occur about every 7 to 8 seconds. So our brains, we don't even realize, but we are so used to cuts happening very, very quickly. If you were to watch a music video, oftentimes like a rap music video where there's a lot of fast dancing, those cuts are going to be every 2 to 3 seconds. So you're going to see a shot of someone dancing, it's going to cut and zoom in, and it's going to cut and go to a different angle. Whereas when we watched The Great Train Robbery, there were very, very few cuts. There were very, very long, long shots, which is something that we don't do anymore. And I think there's some definite benefits to having cuts, but there's also, you also miss out on things. If you've seen the movie, or the musical movie Singing in the Rain, how many of you have seen that? Singing in the Rain, we're going to watch a clip from it, but they use very, very few cuts. And there's a lot of dancing and a lot of huge musical numbers, and having very few cuts means that they had to be very, very talented, and they had to get things right in one shot. So when you have a cut, it allows for people to be a little less talented than they really are. So How many of you watch SNL? Okay, this is a little bit of an oldie, but definitely a goodie. We're gonna watch Lazy Sunday, or part of Lazy Sunday, and we're gonna look for the different cuts and how many times they do that. Okay, there's a cut, there's a cut. Got that high camera angle. So again, these really, really fast cuts here create a really neat visual. It's super fun. That stop motion effect is really, really nice, but that's a nice shot to end on. The cut, the fact that the camera moves so quickly creates that sense of movement. Hello.
Hey, sorry to interrupt you. Look like you're ready to motivate, but
So the next one is flashbacks or flash forwards. And the more technology that we had with film, the more opportunities we have to do cool special effects like this. So a flashback or a flash forward is insert into a sequence of a shot that took place in the past. And Harry Potter does a wonderful, wonderful job at that throughout all of their films, going back to the past, because it's an important, what happened to Harry as a baby is an important element of that story. So we'll take a look. Which needs that shot of that eye. It's like we're going into his mind to get all these flashbacks.
Look at me. Harry, it isn't how you are like. It's how you are not.
Again, without the flashbacks or the flash forwards in this movie, and TV shows like Lost, and I'm sure there's other movies that you can think of, we would miss out on what is going on inside the mind of the character, what's motivating the character from the past in that particular moment. All right, the jump cut. This is, like we already saw with cuts, only it's taking one particular image and cutting it to a different camera angle. So, for example, if I was making a film about this class and I wanted to get Demetrio's perspective about this particular lecture, I might put my camera right here and take a shot of him watching the screen up here. But then, in order for us to understand what's going on in Demetrio's head, I'm going to jump cut really quickly. So I've got my shot of Demetrio right here. Then I'm going to go behind his shoulder, so I'm still looking at Demetrio. He is still the subject or the focus of the shot. And I'm going to take a shot that'll allow me to get the back of his head and will allow me to get what he sees on the screen. So not only do we know actually as an audience what he's doing, but we're also getting inside his head a little bit to see what he's focusing on. So a jump cut, if you see here, we've got two different setups, or the camera would have to be completely redone to get the shot of her on this side, but then also to get a more specific shot so we can see that she's putting makeup on in the car.